Hey guys, Quigon Quasar here, back again with another video, and in this video I am going to be talking to you guys about why I really like the look of the new multiplayer, the new Mass Effect multiplayer. The trailer for it just came out yesterday prior to when I'm recording this video, and it looks absolutely badass. It looks amazing, it really does, and I'm going to be talking to you in this video why it is nothing but a good thing, why it's awesome, and why it is absolutely perfect, and it's clearly built on the foundation of Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. It's clearly built on that foundation. It's like an advanced and evolved version of that. And you know, some people would say that, you know, if it's in any way, shape, or form like the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, then it's not as good, or it's not as good as a brand new multiplayer. But the thing is, this isn't like a normal, ordinary rehash. This isn't like just a copy and paste of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. It's completely new. It's a completely new thing. They've just built on the foundation of the original Mass Effect multiplayer, of Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, and you can see this in the sense that it still plays out the same, and you're still, you know, in a team of 4, I think it is. You're still in a team of 4, and you're still put on the map to you know, take on waves of enemies. It's still like a horde mode type thing, but it's shown in a bunch of different ways how much it's evolved and how much it's changed. For example, the maps are a lot bigger. They are huge. And by the way, I'm going to link that video, the Mass Effect multiplayer trailer. For anyone that hasn't seen it, I'll link it in the description just so you can see everything that I'm going to mention. But the maps are a lot bigger, and more importantly, they're a lot more freely traversable. So I'm on a good map to show you guys what I mean. Actually, I didn't even realize. But like, for example, I can do nothing here. This building's here. I can do nothing with this building. I'm stuck to the floor. I can't jump. I can't do anything. I'm stuck to the floor, and that's the same for every character and for every player. But regularly, you will see like people, you know, like enemies on this map, like a Nemesis, if you're fighting against Cerberus, or Husks, if you're fighting against Collectors and Reapers. They'll jump up there and they'll hop up and down on there. So, you know, enemies can do that, but you can't. It's not something that you can do. It's not something that you can do anything near to. You're stuck to the ground. But in the new multiplayer, it is very much changed. The maps are, well, wherever you can see, you can go. Essentially, what you can see, you can go. What you can see, you can do. You can boost up there. If your boost will reach high enough, you can boost anywhere, which I think is a really cool. It's what it needed anyway. It's really cool, and that leaks over to the campaign as well. It's thanks to the new combat and movement system in the campaign and the multiplayer. Obviously, it wouldn't. Why would it be the same in one, but you know, not in the other? And it's really cool. It's really cool. It's going to offer a lot of different strategies and a lot of ways of movement, a lot of ways of gameplay in the maps, as opposed to, you know, these maps, they're small. The Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which is what I'm playing right now, it was great and everything, but they were very small, and it made it, they were even smaller when you thought about the fact that you can't go on top of these buildings, you can just go in this room. You know, there's some maps, like, I can't think of the name, but some maps that are literally just like 2-3 corridors. Really small, but they've really made them bigger in Mass Effect Andromeda. And like I said, a lot more importantly than being bigger, they've made them a lot more freely traversable as well, which is awesome. It's absolutely really cool and really awesome. And this is going to make it a lot more fun to play on your own or play with friends or whatever. Because, you know, you could hold down this area, you could hold down that area over there, but at the end of the day, you're just going to move to where the enemies are until they overwhelm you, and then you're going to retreat and go somewhere else. It's not quite as fun as what Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer is going to be, where you can literally just hold up on any rooftop or any part that you want, and you can make it stand anywhere. It's going to add a lot more different kinds of strategies and play styles, and the different kinds of characters that you can play as, such as, let's say, biotics, like human vanguards, human biotics or something. It's really going to play into that, because especially snipers, you know, snipers cannot do a lot on the Mass Effect 3 maps, multiplayer maps, because there is not really any long-range areas to go to. You have to be quick on the draw, you have to do a lot of quick-scoping, essentially, because there's no long-range areas to go to. You're in close-range areas, and on every map, even the bigger maps in this game, it really does not house snipers well, or long-range people, long-range playstyle characters well. But in this new multiplayer, you will be able to play your way. It sounds corny the way I'm saying it, but you will be able to play your way. You'll play however your playstyle is, which is absolutely awesome. It allows for a lot more different strategies, and it just I'm just imagining so many cool scenarios where I'm playing with like 3 other people. And, you know, we're just holding up on, like, a rooftop somewhere with loads of dudes down, you know, the remnants of the cat or whatever, down below, trying to get up and trying to overwhelm us. It just sounds so cool. It sounds really promising, and it's going to make for a lot. Like, I had so much fun in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I'm just like in awe of how many hours of fun I'm gonna have in Mass Effect 3's. Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's really gonna be awesome from what I can tell. Like it's definitely changed up. It's nowhere near as basic or as primitive as the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was. And the classes, the different like the different people. Oh Jesus, that scared me. The different people you can play as are really switched up now. It's not anywhere near as restricting as it was in this game. So when you're playing as a Krogan, the Krogans are always going to be the close range tanks, and that makes sense. They haven't changed that up. What they have done is they've made it so that the characters, or I think they call it character kits now, they're a lot more freed up. They're a lot more like diverse, and you can again play your way. You can play it to how you want it. And obviously, you know, if you're playing as oh Jesus, he scared me. You're playing as a freaking Krogan, chances are you're probably not going to be like the best acrobatics in the world type of character. That's not what I mean, but they have changed it up. They've made the races a lot more freeing, and you know, there isn't just like you know, like one way of playing as a Krogan or one way of playing as one kind of character. They've really freed it up, and it's really cool. Makes for a lot more diversity and more potential, and more potential for like a diverse team if you're playing with your friends, which is going to be really cool. So you can play with like 3 other people, and you can all have a massive mix of characters, and then you can swap over to another character or play with another group of people, and you'll be, you know, there'll be a lot more different kinds of mix and matchups that you can make with different characters and different playstyles, which is really cool, and it welcomes new characters and different playstyles and different tactics. And this is obviously going to go hand in hand with the newly revamped and newly you know, changed up maps, like I was mentioning before. So it's really cool, and the menus, the layout of it are really promising and really good. They're laid out a lot better. They just look more pro. I don't know what. Obviously, menus aren't that big of a thing in terms of gameplay, but they're a lot more user-friendly, a lot easier to understand. The Mass Effect 3 menus were kind of like, I don't know, they just looked, even in 2012 when it came out, they just looked a little bit basic and a little bit kind of like old, like an old operating system, or something like an old Apple Mac operating system, or something like that, if you get what I mean. Whereas the new like menus and the new way of doing everything on the menus, and you know, prior to the match, it looks a lot better, and it's also a lot more. It seems more detailed and more in depth, but also a lot more user-friendly and easy to understand, which is really good. And onto the weapon types. The weapon types in the new multiplayer are a lot more expansive as well. In this, in Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, and Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, the weapon types were... it's not that they weren't diverse, but they're nowhere near as diverse as the Mass Effect Andromeda's weapon types. You had you know, you just had, it wasn't really defined by anything, you just had a bunch of weapons, but they were very like basic in terms of like what kind of technologies there were. There was either like you know, kind of phasers or laser type guns, or there was like ballistics, you know, like bullets and heavy hitting weapons, which was great and everything. But in this in Mass Effect Andromeda and in Mass Effect Andromeda's multiplayer, there's actually going to be 3 kinds of technology. There's going to be the Milky Way technology, which is all of Mass Effect 3 and Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, all that kind of technology, that from the lasers, from the Geth, you know, plasma cannons, plasma rifles, all the way to like the Krogan shotguns that fire like massive chunks of lead, massive chunks of ballistic hot metal. You're going to have all of that. You're also going to have some technology from the Helios cluster, which I'm guessing is going to be a place in Mass Effect Andromeda, in the actual Andromeda galaxy. And you're also going to get remnant technologies, which this isn't a spoiler, but you can see in those a lot of the trailers that they've released for the game, these massive hulking big robots. They just look so cool. Well, they're not really hulking. They're not like Reaper type robots. They're very different in terms of style to the Reapers. They're robots, but they seem a lot more like fluid and a lot more natural looking robots than if you think about the Reapers as like beetles, think about the remnant. All these big robots, I'm guessing they're the remnants. You think about them like, you know, like reptiles or snakes or something. At least some of them, one of them in the trailer that they've released, one of the trailers that they released, definitely looks very sort of reptile-like and very snake-like, in fact. So these new technologies are going to offer like a massive diversity of different weapons, which is again going to make the multiplayer. It's going to go hand in hand with the new combats, the new movement system. You know, that more open maps, and you know, the more diverse characters and everything. It's all of these things go hand in hand. and they're all gonna like work together to make a more diverse and more enjoyable and more long-lasting and multiplayer experience, which is really cool. And this is also going to welcome more tactics, like the other 2 points that I made before. It's also going to welcome more tactics and a more varied team, because say these different weapon technologies are going to be useful against certain types of enemies, but also going to, you know, say like a plasma rifle, like a remnant plasma rifle or something, might not be the best against, say, a Quigon, for example, but it would be good against shields. Things like that. They'll each have advantages and disadvantages. So it's going to encourage people to, you know, on their team, use different weapons, more varied weapons, instead of all going for this hulking big Quigon shotgun or something. It's going to encourage like a more variety amongst the loadouts, the weapon loadouts as well, which is again another good thing. It's like the key word is variety here, which is a very good thing. And honestly, I think it's really good. It's going to be really good how the weapons, and I've heard some of the sound of the weapon. They showed it in the trailer. It's fantastic. It's so crisp, but it's so satisfying. It's one of those noises that you have to hear. It's like, I think it's a Black Widow sniper rifle, which was obviously in the original games. It's some kind of sniper rifle, and that's in the multiplayer trailer that I'm going to link down below in the description. And oh my god, the sound it's so satisfying and so good. And another thing about the multiplayer is it's not linked to the campaign as strongly, like with Mass Effect 3, for example. The campaign was very much linked to the multiplayer. If you didn't play the multiplayer, or if you didn't have Xbox Live, or didn't have access to the internet, you got a bad outcome with the ending. You got a pretty bad outcome, and that was pretty shitty, because I remember for a while I played through Mass Effect 3 probably about 3 or 4 times, maybe even more, in fact, before I got Xbox Live on my Xbox 360. So I couldn't, you know, play multiplayer. I couldn't, you know, improve my ending or anything. And obviously they got criticized a lot for that. And honestly, they didn't deserve the criticism, but it wasn't a great idea to link them together, because this massive portion of the game that a lot of people couldn't have access to now. So those guys missed out, you know, when people who didn't have access to Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or any internet service. I think it was Origin for PC, or you know, people that just didn't want to play multiplayer for one reason or other, or didn't have time. Maybe those people missed out on a better ending, so it forced people to either play it or have a crappy ending. In Mass Effect Andromeda, it is going to be linked to. By the way, we're fighting Cerberus now because my freaking video lagged out and went all crappy. So yeah, we're fighting Cerberus now. So Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be linked to the campaign. The multiplayer is going to be linked to the campaign, but not crucially. It's only minorly linked. I don't know exactly how it's going to be linked. They mentioned it a little bit in the multiplayer trailer, in the multiplayer gameplay trailer, but it's not going to be completely linked to it. It's not going to affect how your outcome is. It's not going to affect the plot in any way, in any crucial way. It's just going to have a small sort of impact on the story. It's going to tie into the story, so the multiplayer is canon and the multiplayer makes sense. It's not just these guys magically running around the map for some reason fighting. It is still tied into the story. It's still going to have an impact on the story, just not a crucial one, and you don't have to play it to get a good ending or anything. It's still going to be tied into the story, but it's not really going to have any hold or play over the story, which is good, because they received a lot of criticism. Like I said, criticism for that in Mass Effect 3. Like I said, there is still going to be a link. It's just not going to be a massive one. It's not going to be a really strong one. I think the BioWare have done a really good job of recreating Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. Where it was strong, they kept it. They kept it and improved it. But where it was weak, so for example, how constricting the maps were, how small the maps were, that's just one example. It didn't fall short in many areas, but let's just go with that example. They've improved it. Where it needed to be improved, they improved it, which is really good. And they've built upon a successful foundation. They've just improved it and made it even better and made it even more successful. Let's just headbutt this guy, get wrecked, and they've improved it. They really have, and it's really good. I think they've done a really good job of improving it while staying true to the original theme and sticking true to the original the original style of Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, but making it better in all the ways that it needed to be. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys found this informative or enjoyable. If you did, please leave me a like. Let me know what you think in the comments as well. Leave me a like if you did find this informative or interesting in any way, or enjoyed listening to my annoying voice for about 15 minutes. Because it would really help me out, and I would really appreciate it. If you want to see a lot of Mass Effect Andromeda content once the game actually releases on EA Access, on Early Access, and when it actually gets to the full release, there's going to be, honestly, I'm going to be doing more Mass Effect videos than any other YouTuber, I guarantee. I am just going to be ruthless with it. There'll be so much Mass Effect Andromeda content. So if you want to see that from gameplay walkthroughs, how to, you know, how to do something in the game, things in the game, and their guides, definitely stick around and subscribe to my channel. There'll be plenty. There'll be hundreds of Mass Effect Andromeda videos within the first few weeks of its release, I guarantee you. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.